Welcome to Absolute Beginner Crochet Stitches with Jackie Wall Studio. Please like and subscribe and follow me on social media for all the updates. We will be using the North American crochet terms, and we will cover single crochet, half double crochet, and the double crochet. In the Crochet for Absolute Beginners video, we learned how to create this foundation chain. Today, let's start with creating a single crochet. So I have my hook in my final loop of my chain, and I'm going to start to work with a single crochet into the second chain. So here's my first into that second chain. I'm going to put my hook through. I am going to go underneath the yarn. I'm going to have my hook up first, and then I'm going to turn it over to grab that yarn. So yarn it over, pull it through that loop. Now I have two loops on my hook. I'm going to go in front of the yarn again, and I'm going to yarn over and pull it through those two loops. And that is my first single crochet. Then I am going to go into the next chain. So this chain has a stitch in it. I'm going to go into the next chain. I'm going to put my hook through, go underneath the yarn, yarn over, pull it through, pull up that loop so it's about even with the other one, yarn over again, and pull through. Let's create a few more. So I'm going to go into my next chain, pick up that yarn, turn my hook over and pull it through that chain. Now I have two loops, pull it up so it's about equal, pick up my yarn again, yarn over, and pull through. I'm just going to continue to do that until I get to the end of my chain. We're almost at the end of that row. So I've got two chains left to work through. So I'm going to complete my two single crochets into those two final chains. And then I will show you how to finish your row and go on to the next. So once I get to the end in the final chain, I'm going to chain one. I'm going to turn my work over. And then I am going to work through the first single crochet. I'm going to go through both of those loops, so it'll look like I have a chain on top of my hook. I'm going to pull through by yarning over and pulling through, so I have two hoops again, yarn over and pull through both. Then I'm going to go into the next, pull through, and through those two hoops, and again into the next single crochet, pull through, and come through. And that is how you get to your next row. Now, to add a little bit of a variation to your stitch for a single crochet, you can also work into the front loop only or the back loop only. So the front loop only, I would work through just one, the front one. If I were working in the back loop only, I would just work into that back loop. I'll do a few so that you can see what a difference that makes. And this is a way that you can basically learn one stitch but have a different variation of this stitch very, very easily. So as you will see, here I did in the both loops. So it's kind of flat and it's seamless. This one kind of creates a bit of more texture and it's not flat. There's a bit of an edge here because we worked only into the back loop on that. The front loop would have the same effect, however your edge would be in the back. Let's move on to the half double crochet. I have my foundation chain, and this time I am going to work in the third chain from my hook. So here's the first, second, and there is the third. Now this is exactly like the single crochet, except there's one extra step, and that is we are going to start this stitch by yarning over before we work into that third stitch. And then it's the same as a single crochet. Yarn over, pull through, but instead of having 2 loops on my hook, I now have 3. And I'm going to pull, yarn over, and pull that yarn through all 3 of those loops. All right, let's go to the next one. So we'll skip that one. It's got a stitch in it. Go to the next, yarn over, put your hook into the next chain, yarn over, pull through 3 loops on my hook, and pull through all 3 of those loops. All right, let's do some more. So yarn over, go through the next chain, yarn over, and pull through 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, and pull through all 3 of those loops. And now we're going to keep going right to the end of the chain, and then I will show you what to do when you move to the next row with the half double crochet. All right, I'm almost at the end of my chain. I've got 2 stitches left, so I'm going to finish those 2 stitches. And then when I turn my work, it is the exact same as a single crochet, same process. However, once I get to my end, you will now chain 2. Then turn your work, yarn over, and work into that first stitch of your half double crochet on the last row. And all through those 3 loops, and go again. Once again, you can, as the single crochet, you can work in the front loop only or the back loop only. It really depends on the effect that you want for your work. Or you can do a couple of rows that are in both loops and then work in the back loop and just provide a little bit of variation for your stitch. The final stitch for today's video will be the double crochet. So with this one, when we're starting from a chain, we will want to skip the first 3 chains. So 1, 2, 3. We'll want to go into that 4th chain to start our stitch. Once again, like the half double crochet, we are going to yarn over before we insert our hook into that chain. And now we're going to yarn over again and pull through. So we have 3 loops on our hook, just like we did with the half double crochet, but this time we're going to yarn over again and just go through 2 of those loops. So we have 2 loops on our hook. Now we're going to yarn over and go through those final 2 hoops. And that is a double crochet. Let's do that again. Yarn over, go through your next chain, yarn over, pull through 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, go through 2 hooks, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, and go through those 2 loops. All right, here we go again. Yarn over, through the next chain, yarn over, through the chain, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, go through 2 of those loops, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, and go through those final 2 loops. There we go, yarn over, through the next chain, 3 loops, yarn over, through 2 loops, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over through the last 2 hoops. And there you have double crochets. I'll just finish off the rest and show you how to start on your next row. All right, I've almost completed my first row. I just have one more to do. So I'm going to go into that last chain, create my double crochet, and then to start the next row, you are going to want to chain 3 this time. And then turn over your work. And the same thing, yarn over, go through that first double crochet, going through both loops. You can work front loop only or, whoops, or back loop only. But I'm going to go through both. Back through here, through, got 3 on my hook, go through 2, yarn over again and go through 2. And that is how you double crochet. Thank you for watching, and just keep creating.